It's not, we're not going to carry 2 halogens up there and use one halogen to bash the other one in. That's not it. This is it was a last resort. I needed something moved, flattened, smashed, hit, whatever. I turned my halogen around. Again, it's very versatile. I use that flat end. Occasionally you'll have tools like that designed to use. A prying tool as a striking tool. This prying tool, nowhere on here is it designed or have a spot to where it'd be useful as a striking tool. So this is one that falls into that. Nowhere on there is it flat enough or sturdy enough to strike anything with it. So, safety with power saws. See, this fella's getting ready to use his quickie saw on that plywood there. Could be just fine, depending on the blade he has in there. The way ours set up here in Grandview, we're not going to be doing that. You want to match the saw and the blades to the task and material to be cut. Like I just stated, we're not going to do that here in Grandview. Our quickie saw is set up to be cut in metal and concrete. It doesn't have teeth on it like a chainsaw or manual powered saw does for cutting wood. I went over this a little bit earlier. You never force a saw or any power tool for that matter beyond its design limitations. Manufacturers design that blade to spin at a certain rate. The more pressure you put on that blade, the more resistance you're putting on that motor, and that blade slowing down and not actually cutting to its fullest extent. The same with drills, pretty much any power tool. The weight of that tool, a lot of times, is enough to make the cut that you're supposed to make it. And you just add a little bit more pressure to it to keep make it add stability to your cut and be able to hold your saw a little tighter. Majority of your saws, the weight themselves is what it requires, and you're just kind of guiding it through there. What's this? Always wear full PPE? Man, that must be important. We really should be protecting ourselves, right? Fully inspect saw before and after use. So that's going to go with our maintaining our equipment. Fred there's not going to grab a tool and go, oh, it's pretty dull, I'm going to use it anyway. Oh, this piece is broken, I'm going to use it anyway. He's going to set it off the side, get another one, use it, and he's going to report back to his captain or his commander and be like, hey, this tool's broken, we need to replace it or get it out of service. Generally, you would hope that in the morning that was found during a truck check, but then again, you would also hope that the person that used it before you noticed that he cracked it, broke it, and he took it out of service. But things get overlooked, people get busy, calls happen in the middle of the night, and you get back to restock, and another call comes out just like that. You didn't get a chance to do that. So it's not always feasible to go, I trust a crew before me, I know that I always trust my crew before me, but things happen. What if they overlook the fact that they broke that? What if they overlook the fact that that's dull? What if they knew about it, got ready to do it, and a call came out, and then it got forgotten about because they got nailed out on a couple other calls? It happens. That's why we check our trucks and our material in the morning. Do not use any power saw in a flammable atmosphere or near flammable liquids. Anything power-wise is going to have friction inside the motor, heat creating. As the blade's turning, you could be creating a spark or something along those lines, or friction and heat to build up in that. Whereas you have your flammable atmosphere would be your gases, and your flammable liquids would be your liquid gases. All those are going to potentially catch with just heat or a few sparks. So be aware of your surroundings and the environment that you're working in. We're maintain situational awareness. Hobble awareness. Again, be aware of your surroundings. Are you going into a gas-filled area with a blowtorch? No, you're gonna try to ventilate that area out, or you're gonna try to get a different tool to use that because of the atmosphere. You're gonna keep unprotected and non-essential people out of the work area. PPE is huge. We've said it like a dozen times already, it's probably gonna be under test. Now, you have to be safe, the person next to you has to be safe. If there's a lay person in there, you need to ask them to leave, or you need to get them out of the area before you start performing your duties. They're not protected like we are, they're not protected like we are, and they're not, trained like we are. They don't know the actual outcome that's gonna happen. We rarely know outcomes that are gonna happen, we have general ideas. And that's just from past practice. Follow the manufacturer's guidelines for operations. Man, that's a big old word, it happens a lot. Probably gonna be on a test, I'd assume, it's probably gonna be something that you wanna know later. Manufacturer designed those tools a certain way for a certain reason, and that's what they say that they're for. That's what they were used best for. So the blades and the chains, again, that's inspecting your tools afterwards, that's keeping them clean, keeping them in the working order. You're gonna wanna keep them sharpened. The most dangerous tool is a broken tool or a dull blade, is a dull tool. Keep those sharpened and ready to use. All your tools need to be in a ready state, just like your apparatus is. You always keep that in a ready state, so it's always ready to run calls. Your tools always need to be able to be used in a position where they're gonna be able to be used. Be aware of hidden hazards. Hidden hazards can actually be anything. It could be a piece of debris lodged into the blade itself that may come out as a projectile when you turn the saw on. It could be something that's on the other side of a wall or a door that you're trying to cut or penetrate in. Just be aware of all the hidden hazards. Expect the unexpected.